This meeting is being recorded.
Recorded.
Anybody heard that? Welcome. Yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome to another Social Hub session. We've got myself and Stuart here, as always, and then we've also got our guest today, David Nason from Sky. But we'll do some proper introductions shortly. But welcome back, everybody, any of our regulars, and welcome any newbies. Yeah, it's great to have you all here with us again for another AT Social Hub session. It's the 27th of May. I can't believe it's May. It's nearly June, sorry, already. It's this year's flying by. But yeah, we're very excited to have I guess David from Sky with us today, and to be talking all about the SkyQ accessibility features. But also, as always, with the Social Hub, it's an opportunity for you to share your experiences, to talk about assistive technology in general. Obviously, the main focus today is Sky, but please do chip in with any other questions or observations, anything that you want to share with the group. We do encourage you to share your AT experiences with us. Good. So welcome anybody that's just joined. Welcome to the Social Hub. So before we do kick off, we're going to just go through a few parish notices, as always. So yeah, if you've never been to a Social Hub session before, welcome. David's going to be leading the session to begin with a demonstration. Obviously, we can ask questions throughout, and there'll be plenty of time after the demonstration for us to discuss and to ask questions as well. But if you do want to add any comments, questions, please do use the chat box, okay, which you can access. If you're using a screen reader, you can use Alt and H on a Windows machine, Command and H on a Mac, and that will open up your chat box. John's kicked off in the chat box already. Hi, John. Morning. Good. Or if you want to raise your hand and ask your question, or to David, or to myself or Stuart, then Alt and Y or Command and Y to raise your hand, and then we can unmute you. Yes, so please do get involved. We really do encourage you to get involved in the conversation and ask any questions. Good. So numbers are tailed off a little bit there. So yeah, we'll make a start. But yeah, welcome everyone. It's really good to be back. This is our where are we now? Well, yeah, end of May. So we're almost halfway through. But yeah, we run the Social Hub every 2 weeks, and we're sort of a variety of themes, topics across anything related to assistive technology. But this week, we're really delighted to have David Nason from Sky joining us. David's the accessibility and compliance lead for Sky over in Ireland, and David's going to be showing us or navigating around the SkyQ accessibility features for us in a second. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, my name's Sam. I'm representing Sight and Sound Technology this morning, and my colleague, I suppose I can call you colleague, Stuart. We work together enough, don't we? Yeah. It's Stuart Beveridge from Seascape up in Fife is with us as well. How are you doing, folks? Stuart? You all right?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all, Sam.
Good. And David, are you Dublin based? Yeah.
I am. Yeah. And thanks a million for having me, by the way.
No, it's great to have you here. Yeah, we like to sort of kick off with a weather report, David. So yeah, are you able to just fill us in? How's the weather over in Dublin today?
I'm sitting in the living room and the sun is beaming in through the window. So I'm sitting in a nice little patch of sunlight on the living room, in the living room in front of the TV.
Yeah, it looks like you've got a lot of sort of natural light. I've got artificial light today because it's grey and grim up in Hull in East Yorkshire. What about you, Stuart? How is it up in Fife?
Yeah,
are you flooded?
It's still very cold. The rain's off now, but the rain's been horrendous at the start of the week, so that's gone, thankfully, but it is still, that the temperature just doesn't seem to go above 9 degrees at the moment, according to the Apple Watch. So
yeah.
Summer will start soon, right?
Fingers crossed.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, it's just rained here solidly for 2 weeks. Yeah. But yeah, Good. I'm looking forward, Stuart, to, I know that the borders are open now, but when I'm actually able to go and visit the Seascape service users, I'm really looking forward to getting up to Scotland. I'm sure
We're working on it, mate. Our new
Yeah,
CEO just started on Monday, so just watch this space,
Yeah.
Sam, and I'll be in touch on that one.
Oh no, it's all right. I'm ready and waiting.
Yeah.
Mainly, I've got my golf clubs in the car already. Looking forward to getting on the courses up on the coast in Fife. The links courses up there are great. Good. So yeah, thank you, gents, for being here as always. What we sometimes like to ask guests as well, David, is obviously this being the Assistive Technology Social Hub, and I know that you are visually impaired yourself. So in terms of forgetting, not Sky related or Sky, accessibility features related, but what other assistive technology would you say is really important for you as somebody that's VI? What do you use, and what is what would you say is your most important piece of assistive tech? Or you can do a top 3 if that's easy. If that's easy.
I suppose I'm very much a screen reader for about 10 years now, so I've RP, so I would have been using magnification probably up to that point, and then productivity led me towards screen readers, and I use kind of JAWS in work, and I use a Mac at home, but I suppose, is it really boring to say like the iPhone is the critical piece of technology with voiceover on it? It's just but try to play around with all of them, try and play around with the Android side as well, and kind of know my way around that. But I would think the iPhone is with voiceover specifically is the big one for me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I suppose that may be the same for a lot of VI or blind attendees today. The iPhone now is sort of. Do you agree, Stuart Beveridge? It's sort of a must-have, right?
Yeah, I think it's the iPhone's your go-to. I mean, I think my top 3 anyway. I mean, I think mine at the moment, my iPhone is my go-to. My Amazon Echo, because it's connected to so many things and separate devices, and then obviously the screen reader as well on the laptop. Yeah.
You're not going to go.
I use the Echo, but I don't. All I use it for is playing the radio. Really, maybe I haven't really delved into its full capabilities.
You're not fully hooked up with the smart home yet, then, David?
No, and I'm up in my parents' house to do this because they've a better setup than me. But in my apartment, I'm renting, and I can't really do much. You know what I mean, with that kind of stuff. So
well, limited. Stuart Beveridge, I mean, Mr. Smart Home, how's the robot Hoover, Stuart?
Oh yeah, it's fine. He was out yesterday, and he still seems to be picking up a horrendous amount of guide dog hair. So I don't know what my guide dog is doing at the moment, but
brilliant. He's not hoovered up the guide dog, has it?
It's the guide dog does a runner when it sees a hoover now. So.
Yeah, to be honest, I obviously don't have a guide dog, but my dog, my spaniel, the hoover comes out, he's gone. You're gonna have to go send out a search party. Love the robot Hoover. I actually added that to a presentation last week, Stuart. I was doing a presentation for a sight loss organisation, and I put the Dyson iRobot in there, and it went down very well. Good. So let's kick off then. Introductions over with. So David, obviously representing Sky today. Now, obviously voice guidance is the new feature, but it's one of many accessibility features and sort of developing accessibility features that Sky have added to their toolbox. And you're going to talk us through some of them now, aren't you? And you can demonstrate them for us. So we'll hand over to you. But please, everybody, do pop your questions in the chat box, or raise your hand, and we can ask David as we go through. But over to you, David, and we'll let you have a look at
I suppose the one I can easily demo, because the sound is voice guidance, but we do, as you say, have other features for blind and low vision people. So things like audio description is obviously something that I don't know about others, but I hardly watch anything without audio description now, except for sport, really. You know what I mean? If I'm watching a show or a movie, I'm looking for that AD badge. So it's so crucial, and we have that on a huge amount of our own content, and all of our kind of own Sky originals will have audio description, and the guys put a lot of work into the quality of it as well. There's a lot of pride put into making sure that it's good audio description and well scripted, and well recorded, and things like, certainly our commitment is that we'll never do a show where we give you audio description for season 1 and then it disappears in season 2, which we all, I think, know the frustration of when that happens. So that kind of thing. That's a big one. We have a high contrast mode as well. So if you are able to see the screen but you struggle to read the standard interface, you can put that high contrast mode on the SkyQ box, and that will darken the background and brighten the font, essentially, to make that easier to read. And then there's ways of discovering kind of AD content as well that we have on the box. So you've got things like, you can set on a beep on audio description, so that when you change the channel, when you go to a new channel, you'll hear a beep sound if audio description is live on that particular channel at that moment. Or as well, for people who have some vision, you can have shows highlighted in the in a different color, essentially, in the TV guide if they carry AD. Or indeed, we've subtitles and similar feature for subtitles as well. They're kind of the big features on the box itself. And then of course we've apps like Sky Go and My Sky, where we've really put a lot of work in the last couple of years. And my colleague Claire Davidson, who's a digital accessibility manager, has put a lot of work in with the teams to get the process in place so that our apps now are really, really good with voiceover and talkback. So that that Sky Go app, I think it came out August 2019, I believe, and was vastly improved from an accessibility point of view as well. So that's kind of some of the stuff we do generally. And then I suppose, will we take a look at voice guidance? Go
for it. Yeah. Okay, and I think it'd be nice as well, David, for you to, obviously, as we go through, just share about how, because you were involved in the development of some of these features, weren't you, along with your colleague Claire? Is that right? Yeah, so my own role Claire would have kind of taken the lead on putting the requirements together, and the technical kind of aspect and working with the developers. And I would have supported Claire with that as a user, essentially giving my own thoughts, obviously, into those requirements, but also supported by, we put together a group of user testers as well. So pandemic and everything, we had to do it over Zoom. So we had people in Zoom, and Claire had a development box in her house, and we went through and showed them an early version of it and got their feedback. And that really helped us to make some decisions about what voice guidance should say in certain situations, and how it should behave. So that was really useful. And I also worked on training up our accessibility team in the contact center. So we have in Dunfermline, up not a million miles from yourself, Stuart, I guess, and in Stockport, Sheffield, and Dublin, we have accessibility dedicated customer service advisors who you can call for assistance. And so it was really important to us to make sure that they were, really up to speed on this feature in time for its launch. So I put together some training for them and delivered that, and also the web content. So we have a website, skyaccessibility.sky, where you can get information about what we do for accessibility, but also on sky.com. If you go to sky.com/help, we have an accessibility category, and in there you can find information about everything we do. And I would have put together a lot of that content, including the article we have on voice guidance. So that would have been my own role. Great. Right, I'm going to pop that link in the chat box now, everybody. The skyaccessibility.sky, and there's lots of information there about not just the visual impairment features, but obviously hearing as well, and any physical impairments as well.
And if you click the help link on that site, in the nav up the top, there's a help link, and if you click that, that will bring you through to that same sky.com section as well. So
perfect. Good. Well, let's have a look. Let's from the expert himself.
I'll do our best. So we have
no pressure.
In terms of enabling it, actually, I should say first. So you can, if you have a SkyQ remote with a voice control, so with a microphone, you can simply say turn voice guidance on into the microphone, and that will turn it on. But I was always also aware that some people might, whether it's on the main box or the mini box, may not have a microphone. So I wrote up instructions, which you can find online there as well on the voice guidance article on sky.com, which is like, you press the home button, you go down 11 times, you go right, you go down 3 times, you go right, you go down 5 times, and you go right, and you go up twice, and you press select. So it's, you know, you can find that online there. And that's if you need to switch on or off voice guidance. Well, if it's on, you won't need it already. You won't need that. But if you want to switch voice guidance on, you can do it that way with the remote as well. So what I'll do, by the way, it does, when voice guidance is speaking, it does duck down the background audio. It mutes out the background audio while it's speaking. But what I'm going to do in a second is pause the box, because we don't want it kind of bleeding in and out as when we pause the demo. So I'll just pause the actual playback on the box entirely so that we can hear voice guidance. So you'll hear a show for a second here before I pause the box. Okay, so it's paused now. If you want me to turn up the volume, please let me know. So I'm going to press the home button. This is a kind of big pill-shaped button directly below the down arrow on the keypad or on the remote control.
Main menu, press up or down for different categories. Home. 1 of 14, press right or select to choose.
Is that clear enough?
Yeah, I mean, you can maybe turn it up a tad. It's pretty good, but
tiny bit's fine. Yeah, but
yeah,
just maybe, yeah.
Try this now.
TV guide.
Great.
Home. 1 of 14, press right or select to choose.
So we heard home. This is the main home menu. So we heard home, 1 of 14, and then it said press right or select to choose. So that's giving me an extra kind of hint. And people using, you know, iPhone voiceover and talkback will be familiar with those kind of hints on JAWS, everything, you know, they often have those hints. So we wanted to have that concept so that to help people, guide people through, but I'll come back to that topic, I think, in a little bit. So I could go down through this menu to the different sections of the interface.
TV guide. 2 of 14, press right or recording. Catch up TV. On demand. Sky Cinema.
I won't go the whole way through, but you get the idea that you have those different sections, and you'll have heard. Sorry, I'll let her speak out there.
14, press right or select to choose.
You'll have heard there, hopefully, that I don't need to let her speak out. I can just continue and it'll interrupt as I go down through the menu. So if I want to know what's on TV now, I go to the TV guide and then I go right, or I can press the select key. Either one works.
TV guide. Press up or down for different genres. Press left to go back. All channels. 5 of 17. Press right or select to choose.
So it told me now I'm in the TV guide section, and then gave me an instruction of that this is a menu where I can go up or down to select different items, and then told me what I'm on, which is all channels. And I can go in now to the all channels section.
All channels. Press up, down, left or right to navigate through the TV guide. RTE 1 HD, 101. Select to view in mini TV. Press right for upcoming programs. So
again, then I got told where I am, and then I'm on RTE 1. I'm in Ireland, so for those of you in the UK, 101 will be BBC 1. So if I kind of, and it told me it's a grid, so I can go right to go across through the TV shows that are on this channel, or I can go down to go through the list of channels. So if I press down, I get to RTE 2.
RTE 2
and
HD.
I can keep going down until I get to what I want.
TG 4H, version 2 HD, Sky 1 HD, 106. Select to view in full screen.
And you might have noticed the hint there was select to view in full screen, whereas on the previous one it was select to view in mini screen. So my TV is currently on Sky 1, so the mini screen, so people who have some vision or have had maybe familiar with the idea that when you're in your kind of menu area, you have a mini TV screen up in the top corner, which so people can still see what's, you know, the show that's on at the moment while in the menus is the idea. So if you go to a channel and says select to view in mini screen, it'll leave you in the menu, but it'll just put that channel on up in the corner. And then if you press it then it becomes select to view in full screen. So you press it again and it'll go into full screen and dismiss the menu altogether. So that's why it's the mini screen and the full screen. So you could just go up and down to go through and find the channel you want. And then if I want to know what's on, I just go right.
Highway cop. Started at 10 a.m. Duration 30 minutes. Video format HD. Subtitled. Audio description. Documentary following the men and women who help keep motorists safe on some of the most perilous highways and byways of New Zealand. S3 EP20. Select to view in full screen. Press R to record series. Press R again to record once.
So we got quite a lot of information there. What the name of the show, when it started, how long it goes on for. You'll have heard, hopefully there, the audio description badge was read out, so which is obviously really useful for us to know that piece of information. And then we get the synopsis of what the show's about, and then those hints again about, press R to record and so on. And this is one area where our user testing really helped us out, because we had to make decisions about what order do you read all that information in, because it's quite a lot of it. And one thing that came through was people want to know obviously what the show is and when it's on. They're the critical piece of information, and then things like the audio description badge is critical as well. So we wanted them quite early. And then the synopsis as well, because it's quite, A, you might not always want to hear the synopsis, and B, it's quite long. So if you wanted to know, does it have a audio description on it, you don't want to have to sit through the whole synopsis before you find out if it's got audio description, if that makes sense. So that's the kind of conversations we had with users and what was really useful. I can keep going right then to see what's on the rest of today. And I can just go through quickly. So I'm just pressing right rapidly.
The reunion starts at 8 p.m. Duration 2 hours. Video format HD. Subtitled. Audio description. New and exclusive. It's the one we've all been waiting for. Emotions run high as the cast of Friends take one last trip to Central Park to reminisce and relive moments from the iconic sitcom. Select to choose new Friends. The reunion. Press R to record.
That's what I'll be watching tonight. I'm glad I landed on that one. I'll definitely be watching that one. And what I could do now, if I go down here, it won't take me back all the way to now. It is, so if I go down, it'll go down to the next channel, but still leave me at 8 p.m, which is obviously useful. So it's that kind of grid.
Sky Witness HD 107. Ghost Whisperer. Starts at 8 p.m. Durations 1 hour. Video format HD. Subtitled. Till death do us start. Following his father's heart attack, Eli is reunited with his mother, who hasn't been able to cross over for 10 years. S5 EP3. Select to choose Ghost Whisperer. Press R to record series. Press R again to record once.
So that's, so I can go down through the grid at 8 p.m. And then if I want to go back to just the base channel list, I can just go all the way left again. Or I could press the home button to go back to the main home menu as either if I wanted to.
Criminal Minds. Lore. Sky Witness HD.
And then I'm going to go left again.
Select TV guide. Press up or down for different genres. Press left to go back. All channels. 5 of 17. Press right or select to choose. So
I'm in that main TV guide menu again, where I was earlier, and on all channels. And if I say wanted to go to cinema or sports, I don't have to go all the way down to, arrow down 300 times. I could just go to this menu and go to the category and go down to cinema, for example.
Kids. Movies.
Movies.
10 of 17.
And go right.
Movies. Press up, down, left or right to navigate through the TV guide. Sky Premiere HD 301. Select to view in mini TV. Press right for upcoming programs.
And then I'm in the cinema section. And if I was to go down, I'll try and find one that I think might have a pin on it.
Fast and Furious 8. Sky Hits HD 300. Sky Grace HD. Sky Animation HD. Sky Family HD. Sky Action HD 3. Sky Comedy HD.
Action may have a pin. Let's see.
Select to view in full. Please enter your pin. 1 of 4.
So previously, before we had voice guidance, you might have gone to a channel and you go to the channel and then you hear nothing. But now with voice guidance, we wanted to make sure that these kind of alerts are read out as well as the menus, so that it's telling me I need a pin, and it actually reads the numbers as well. So this pin is say 0000, I think. So if I just press the number,
2 of 4.
it says 2 of 4.
3 of 4. 4 of 4.
So it's confirming what I've kind of entered there as well, which is useful.
307. Dirty Harry. Watch from start. Dirty Harry.
And that's kind of how that works. If I go back to 106, which is Sky 1.
Sky 1 HD, 106, highway cost. Select to view the mini TV guide.
So when I go to a new channel, whether it's flicking up and down through the channels with the arrow buttons, or I type a number, it'll read the channel name and what's on now, but it won't give you all that other information, because when you're just going through the channels, you maybe don't want that, but you can go into the guide to get that full information. I'll just go back into the home menu here and just show you some of the other areas we have.
Main menu, press up or down for different categories. Home, TV guide, recordings.
So if we go to recordings, for example.
Press right, recordings. Press up or down for different categories. Press left to go back. Most recent.
So go into that section.
Most recent. Grid of items. Press up, down, left or right to navigate. Diana, the interview that shocked the world. Duration, RTE News, 9 o'clock. 2 episodes. Select to view all episodes. Column 2 of 4, row 1, select to choose.
So a couple of things to note here. This again is a grid where, so some of the menus are, they're lists. So the home menu and the main menu and the sub menu were kind of a list where you go up and down. But then when I go into my most recent recordings, it tells me that's a grid. So I can go up, down, left, right, and it's reading. It tells me column 1 of 4, column 2 of 4, and what row I'm on as well. So it's 4 across always, and then it's how many down, how many rows you have. Obviously depends on how many shows you have recorded. So it'll give me that bit of information, and then I can go in and select whichever show it is I want to watch. I can also go in there and delete a show if I want to, or I can go back out of recordings. Recordings at the moment, it's that most recent section that has voice guidance on it. So you might find some of the other, if you want to use the A to Z list and things like that, they're not ready quite yet, but you can get to all of your recordings through that most recent recordings menu. What it means by most recent, it is actually all of your recordings, but it orders them as it puts the most recent one at the top of the list, essentially. So I'll go back and just show quickly the on-demand menu.
Press up or down, TV guide, recordings, catch up TV, on demand. 5 of 14, press right or select to choose.
You would have heard catch up there, so that's your services like iPlayer and so on, which are covered in here as well. And then we've got on demand, which really brings together the likes of Sky's box sets and things like Netflix and everything all into one kind of on demand space.
On demand, press up or down for different categories. Press left to go back. Features. 1 of 8, press right or select to choose.
So this is a bit of a different type of menu, which again is why those hints are so useful, because this is kind of what we would call rails. So it's a bit like if you're familiar with, say, Netflix or Prime Video, where you have the kind of horizontal rows with a load of shows in a category, and then you go down to go to another category. So if I go down here,
Sky box set.
got box sets,
Netflix. Sky channels. Channels. Sky Store. Ultra HD. Subtitled.
and you'll hear that sound when I get to the end of a area where there's no more, where I can't go any further. I get that sound, which is useful as well.
Skybox set. Features.
So if I'm in featured and I go right.
Press right. Features. Press up, down, left. Friends, the reunion.
There it is again.
City on a hill.
So you get the idea that you're in those kind of rows there.
Main menu. Press up or down for different categories. Home. 1 of 14. Press right or select to choose.
And I think probably one other quick thing to show that would be useful would be the ability to turn hints off. So hints are those pieces of information we're getting, like press right or select to choose, or go up, down, left or right to explore the grid, or press R to record. All those kind of extra pieces of instructions we're getting, they're really useful if you are learning your way around the interface. And it was really important to us that we had those, but it was almost equally important to us that we had the ability to switch them off, because we know, and we certainly got that feedback from users, that once you've learned the system, you're probably not going to want them. You're going to find them kind of irritating, potentially. You know what I mean? If you feel like I know the system, and it's, you know, it's too verbose with the hints on now, so you can switch those off. So that was really important to us. So I'll just show that quickly to show the difference. So I'm going to go down to settings.
Sport. 1 of 8. Press up, down, left. Friends, the reunion. City on a hill. So you get the idea that you're in those kind of rows there. Home. 1 of 14. Press right or select to choose. Music. App. Settings.
Go right.
Status. Accessibility. Accessibility. Press up. Voice guidance. Supported content on with him. Press up or down for options. 1 of 3. Select to choose.
So if you've switched on voice guidance for the first time using the voice control, where you'll have been, what it'll have done is turned it on with hints by default. But you can go into this menu and switch it to on without hints.
On without hints. Press up or down for options.
So I will select that and now go back to the home menu.
Main menu. Home. 1 of 14.
And that's it. So if I go to TV Guide now, for
TV
example.
2 of 14. TV Guide. All channels. 5 of 17. All channels. RTE 1 HD. 101.
So as you can see, we're only getting really the name of the item, and the only other piece of information we have is that item indexing, to give you orientation, the 5 of 14, that kind of thing. But all of that other information is now removed in terms of the hints. So what you'll still get most of it now if I go into the guide.
The Ellen DeGeneres Show. Started at 9:45 a.m. Duration 55 minutes. Video format HD. Subtitled. Jessica Biel and Olivia Holt talk to Ellen about cruel summer. Michelle Buteau discusses The Circle, and glass animals perform heat waves. HD.
So in the guide, you're still getting all of the crucial information. You're just not getting, again, those extra hints. And really, yeah, I think that covers it, I think, unless you guys have any particular questions or particular other areas you want me to go into. But
No, that's great, David. We've got lots of questions queued.
Great stuff.
But no, that's a brilliant overview of voice guidance. Yeah, so we've got, I don't know actually, David, because somebody's mentioned it as well in the chat box. Is there an old kettle boiling in the background? there's a bit of a whistling. I don't know if you can pick it up.
I can't even hear it here.
Can you not? Okay, maybe it's just the connection. Yeah, we just wondered if you had a kettle boiling in the background, but don't worry about it. Get the brews on, David. Andrew said. Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, so questions. So couple of quick ones, really. Paul Chapman's asked if the speed of the voice can be changed.
Not right now. So it didn't make it into our kind of a launch requirements, I guess, or into what we managed to get done for launch, but it's definitely on our agenda, and we'd love to hear from people about what their expectations would be around that. Is 3 settings enough? Do you need 5 different kind of speed settings? So any kind of preferences people have on that, or words per minute type preferences that they might have, just please let us know, and we'd love to hear from you.
So that's to come.
It's to come at a later date. I don't know which release it'll make it into. We're going through a whole process of kind of prioritizing kind of next steps now as well.
Yeah.
So that's again why, if that's something that's really important, we need to know about it so that it's higher in the priority list than something that's less important.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. Good. Yeah, quite a few people asked that question. So we've also got Carol. Hi, Carol. Carol's asked, is the accessibility or are the accessibility features standard on all SkyQ boxes? And also, are different voices available, or just the one voice for the time being?
So on the voices, it's similar to the speed. So
Speed,
again, if there's a demand for it, it's certainly something we'll look at doing. What was the other question? Sorry. Oh,
is it standard across all packages?
It is.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, so it's SkyQ, no, not Sky Plus. But SkyQ is obviously our it's been around since 2016. It's very much our primary product now. So it'll be on all main boxes and mini boxes. If you have multi-screen as well in the house, you'll get it on those as well. It should be on all boxes now. As of the end of April, it finished rolling out. So if you think it's missing, what you'll probably need to do is a software update. And you go to sky.com and see how to do that, or call our advisors. But it does require broadband, I suppose, is the key thing to know, though.
Good. Okay. Thank you. And just out of interest, David, if people do want to, give their feedback, suggestions on, verbosity or different voices, speed change, that sort of thing, where can they leave that feedback? How can they do that?
Yes, so I suppose it's a few ways. If you go reach out to us on social media, well, that will be fed into us. We have Sky Community, which is a forum, and myself and my colleague Claire interact there fairly regularly, and one or two other colleagues. So there's an accessibility, if you go to the discussions link, there's an Sky accessibility board there where you can either contribute to an existing thread or start asking a new question. So that's a good place to reach out to us as well. Or if you're speaking to any of our accessibility agents as well, the customer services advisors, they have a form they can fill out as well, which comes back through to myself and Claire as well.
Excellent. I'm going to pop that link as well, everyone, in the chat box, the Sky Community / accessibility forum.
I always say as well on these, if people are reaching out to organizations like you guys, if your service users are reaching out to you, don't hesitate to get in touch with us either.
Great. Thank you, David. Good. Excellent. Andrew Coleman has got, I know he's got quite a few questions to ask you, David. So I'm going to let Andrew. I'm going to let Andrew speak now. Andrew works for one of our other partner charities at Galloway's. Morning, Andrew.
Hi. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
You all right? Yeah, just a bit of milk and 2 sugars in mine, please, David.
You've got
off my microphone, is it? I don't know. I can hear it myself.
You got 28 cups of tea to make.
Excellent stuff. Hi, David. I've heard you speak before. I think it was on Stuart's Wednesday webinar last year.
Oh yeah, we talked about AD on that.
I think it was. Yeah. Just a couple from me. I've typed them in the chat, but I've noted. Firstly, it was an amazing experience to get voice guidance. It kind of just popped up one day on the Skybox, and I was like, oh, I think someone told me in the accessibility team it was coming, so I was thrilled when I was able to use it. It's quite emotional, to be honest. Being able to sit down on the couch and scroll through the EPG in the Skybox without having to kind of put my face up to the TV. So
I'm right there with you as well. Being myself,
it's a great experience. So I appreciate that. There was probably never an ideal time to launch it because there's always going to be niggles and things to fix, things to improve. So I appreciate that. I suppose just feedback really. I've noticed the one thing I do struggle with is on the EPG itself. If I want to record a program and I press record, it doesn't tell me that I'm actually recording the program or that it's series linked unless I actually press the enter key on the remote to go into that program's kind of synopsis and in its own screen. It then tells me that it's series linked, but it would be better if it was in the EPG as well.
That's a great example of something that, as soon as it went live, suddenly that's one of those things that came back very quickly from that. Oh wow, that you know what I mean? That's something that was missed in development. So yeah, that's very much on our list. Also, you might have noticed when you first switch voice guidance on, you have the same thing. So if you said turn on voice guidance into your microphone, it doesn't say, voice guidance enabled or something like that, which would be nice as well. So it falls into that same category. Yeah, so that is something we have noted, and we're looking at how they can put a notification in. Recordings as well.
And the other one that I noticed when turning on the voice guidance is that I find this really frustrating, but I know this might be improved. Is my Dolby 5.1 is disabled, and I go down to stereo, and then ironically, there's no way of changing back to 5.1 because the voice guidance doesn't work.
Yeah, you can't get into the menu.
In that menu. Is that something that may be resolved, or will voice guidance not work over 5.1?
Yeah, at the moment, voice guidance simply won't work with it. So I probably don't have the technical skills to explain the reasons, but essentially the voice engine is stereo.
Yeah.
And some of the other encoding and things that goes on between the two means that when voice guidance is enabled, the system has to switch to stereo. It just won't work with Dolby 5.1.
Yeah.
It is something that they're looking at. I don't know when or how or what that resolution will look like, but it is certainly on our agenda to.
Yeah. No, that's
definitely
great.
But it's a technical limitation.
And I don't want to hog the space here. So my last question around this is, are you looking at bringing this to kind of some of your on-demand services like the now TV type side of things, or is it just SkyQ at the moment?
So what we have on the now side is obviously on mobile, the apps are okay, but not as good as we'd like them to be when it comes to voiceover and talkback.
Yeah.
So that's certainly, there's a lot of work going on with now at the moment in improving how it works. The Apple TV app is probably the best place to use now at the moment. I was involved with that one myself. That we launched a new app last December, and so the voiceover support on that app is pretty good. So obviously it's not our own screen reader in that case. It's tapping into to work well with whatever the platform itself is. I'm not so sure about the our own Now TV boxes that you can buy. I'll look into that. I think they're built on Roku, which on this side of the Atlantic don't have a screen reader for us to tap into.
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, you kind of using existing technologies. I've got Sam, I've got some unrelated questions away from the EPG and the voice guidance. Would you rather I leave them till later on, or do you want me to ask them now?
No, go for it, Andrew.
I kind of go for it. Okay. I don't mean to put you on the spot here, David.
I'll answer what I can.
I know. Well, do you know what I mean? One thing I am always in touch with, I've got to say, by the way, the guys on the accessibility team that work for you at Sky are absolutely fantastic. They're brilliant over the phone, and they always call me back, and they always spend time with you as well. They're really good, and I think sometimes the hands are tied with a lot of things as well. But the one thing, they're probably sick of me because I'm always writing to them about audio description, always writing to them about that, and the fact that it's two gripes really is that the quality of the audio description itself, the bit rate of the sound is not great through Sky when you switch it on, so you lose a lot of audio quality, even in stereo. I know you only get it in stereo, but it's like listening to a really poor MP3 that you've downloaded. So
is that on Sky channels, on third-party channels, or both?
It's on all Sky channels, and if you go on a Virgin box or a different box and access a Sky channel, it's the same. So it's not even the SkyQ box; it's kind of the broadcast and the audio description broadcast. So I've been complaining about that for ages now. I've had loads of emails off me about it.
Okay, I haven't seen that one come through to me, so I will.
Don't worry,
I'll pick it up.
I've got you on LinkedIn, or I've connected with you on LinkedIn, so I'll send it through to you. Don't worry. And then the other thing, I suppose, the one that everybody's waiting for, the one that ironically we've got a voice guidance now, which is fantastic, but we can access all the on-demand material on the SkyQ box, but we don't get any audio description with it. And that's the one thing I pray for, because I kind of record movies all the time, so there's audio description with them. If I miss it, or I had to wait 12 months for Game of Thrones to be repeated again, so I can watch it in audio description. So you get me gripe with that one.
I absolutely do.
How far away do you think we are away from that development? Do you think?
I don't have a date to give you, but it's not in the way off distant future. So what's kind of going on is, as you'll probably know, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, but you'll probably know Sky UK, Ireland, and then there's Germany, Italy, Austria. We've all kind of come together as one company in recent years, and all we're using different kind of back-end platforms for delivering their video. And what we're doing at the moment is there's a huge technical program going on in the background to unite that back-end video delivery, and for now as well, actually, so that it's all working off the same thing. And part of that program is making sure we get audio description in on demand as well. So
Oh,
basically,
good.
it's
It's
part.
good to hear.
It's
Yeah.
a part of a whole different program. We have a similar issue with subtitles on UHD and things like that as well, on 4K, things like that. Just these kind of gaps is something we're in the process. So that project is actually actively happening now.
Oh, that's really good to
but
hear. Actually, it's
I
encouraging.
don't
No, I
know.
appreciate that,
It could be
David.
another
Yeah.
year or more waiting, for it. But I don't know the actual time frame. But it's in active development, is what I can say.
Okay, thanks for that. No, I appreciate that. I won't hog any more time, but I'll get in touch with you about the other things anyway. But that's
no
great.
worries.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks for that, Sam. Thanks, David.
Thanks,
you.
Andrew.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good to have Andrew here from Galloway's. And yeah, thank you, David, for answering all Andrew's questions. We've got a few more queued up. You've actually covered quite a few of them already. Alan also put in the chat box about the Dolby surround sound issue, which you've covered. Lots on voice, pitch, speed rate, all to come. Software updates, David, are they automatic, or is that something you have to manually do?
It should be automatic. So it's set to be, usually it goes out. What we do is we roll out software updates over when there's a new one. Like they come out 3 or 4 times a year usually. And so there was one in April, and the first a few hundred thousand people get it. And then halfway through the month, another couple of million get it. And then by the end of the month, everyone has it. So we do phased. So that's why sometimes people might see somebody had voice guidance before somebody else, because it just takes a few weeks to roll it out to everyone. It happens kind of in the middle of the night or early morning, and it should be automatic as long as your box is plugged in and connected to broadband essentially. It will happen automatically, but you can force a manual one if for whatever reason you didn't get it.
Great. Good. Okay, thank you. And Sydney has asked, is there any part of the Sky menus that the voice guidance won't cover? Or is it everything now?
There is. If there are a few areas, and again, this is going into our priority kind of conversations.
Yeah.
So I suppose all your key journeys, as we'd say, are working. So your TV guide and your on demand and your alerts, like we showed, and pin screen, all that kind of stuff is there, and you can get to your recordings. Some of the recordings that's the kind of recordings which are organized by most recent. But if you wanted to say go in and manage your deleted recordings, or if you wanted to go in to the A to Z of the recordings, they're not done yet. And the settings area isn't done yet either, apart from the accessibility menu, which is done, but the rest of the settings area isn't yet done. So they'd be the key ones. I think the help area as well. So where you've got articles, you can get those help articles on sky.com, but obviously it can be convenient to have it on the box. So they're the ones we still have to do. And then I think anyway, and if people disagree with me, let me know. But from what I feel as a user myself, and what I've seen from users so far, is the apps. So we've got, you can have Netflix and Disney Plus and Amazon Prime Video and YouTube and these kind of apps on the box. And at the moment, voice guidance isn't working with those. So we have a bit of work to do our end, and then those, just like with any platform, then those companies will have to do a bit of work to tap into it when we give them the access to it. But they have it on other platforms, so I'm sure they will use it. But that's probably the biggest gap, I would have thought.
Good, thank you. Because quite a few people have asked about that as well, about third-party apps, Netflix, BBC iPlayer, etc.
Yeah, if you do now a search, if you did a search, voice search, or even in the, when we went into the on-demand area there, you could see Netflix stuff was there. So in search results, you'll get Netflix and Disney Plus results, and when you select it, it might bring it up, but it'll stop speaking when you bring it up. But generally, it probably will land on the play button. So if you press select again, you'll probably get to play it. But it is. So you have partial access to that stuff at the moment. But obviously, we definitely want to bring voice guidance into all those apps.
Great. Okay, thank you. I was sent a number of questions before the session as well. And you've already covered some of them. John O'Donoghue, morning, John, asked about will voice guidance cover programs that you've recorded, and sort of the recording of programs. You've already covered that one. Chris Davidson. Morning, Chris. Now, Chris has asked about, he's currently using Sky Plus. And then he's got a Sky Plus box, he's got the Sky Plus app, which he uses with VoiceOver on his iPhone. And he's looking at upgrading to SkyQ. Chris has asked that he couldn't find a SkyQ app, but he would be looking for the Sky Go app, wouldn't he? Is that right?
Yes. So about, I'd say it was about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, the Sky Q app was retired and all of its functionality was integrated into Sky Go. We don't currently have full, so with Sky Plus, you could actually fully control the box, change the channel, go into your recordings, get something to play using the app, get something to play on your TV. That isn't currently available in Sky Go. You can set something to record, but you don't have that full remote control functionality in the Sky Go app for Sky Q at the moment, but it is something we're looking at. I don't have a date for when it'll be out, but it is, that kind of remote control functionality is something that that we should come at a later date. But obviously voice guidance is, with Sky Plus, that was how we controlled as visually impaired people the box, whereas now with voice guidance, at least that gap is largely closed. But for some people, I'm sure they still would like that functionality.
Great. Okay, thank you. Hope that helps, Chris. Yeah, good. And Joanne, morning, Joanne. I know you're with us as well. Joanne's asked a few questions, but she's asked, is Sky aware, I'm sure you are, but is Sky aware that the TV on demand services and box sets do not provide audio description? I know that Andrew has covered this, but there are plans to develop this in the near future. Yeah.
Yeah, or medium future anyway.
Medium to near. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So good. She's also asked, does the new voice guidance feature work if you want to record, series link, delete programs, etc., which you demonstrated? Good. And also asked, this is an interesting one. So sometimes John said when she uses the SkyQ remote control and the voice command play, whatever the program is, the program does not appear sometimes, even though she knows for certain that it's only recordings. Could there be a reason for this?
I'm not sure. They're kind of seeing the issue, the exact example. It's quite hard to say, but what I would say is now that voice guidance is there, hopefully you'll be able to see what's actually, or find out, what's actually happening, if you know what I mean. So before, if you did a search, for example, with voice, with the voice remote, it would bring results up, but you couldn't read them. Whereas now, at least voice guidance will actually, anything that appears on the screen, voice guidance will now read it for you. So hopefully that will help her to figure out what's happened there. But I would say maybe what's happening is there's two versions of it or something like that, and it's brought something up on the screen to say which one do you want or something like that. That's my best guess. But
okay, great. And I like her final question as well. I love the boldness, Joanne. Like it. She said, "Are there any job openings or trainee schemes for disabled applicants at accessibility compliance at Sky HQ?" But I suppose, would you be able to share? Is there a way of people, joining volunteer schemes or becoming testers or getting involved?
There's a few kind of things I suppose to talk about in that, interesting areas around that. Like, in general, our jobs are careers.sky.com. And I know there is, I don't know much about it, but I know there is an academy program. I don't think it's specific for people with disabilities, but there is one. We're doing a lot of work. I'm involved with it myself on diversity and inclusion and all that kind of stuff at the moment. Sky the other day announced we joined the Valuable 500, which is the Caroline Casey's program on promoting disability specifically in businesses as a key business target. And we're one of the 13 iconic leaders, they call it. So we're definitely looking at I'm going to be looking at all kinds of ways of how we can be a more inclusive employer and include more people with disabilities. So I would say, who knows what the future holds in that space. So when it comes to testing, We don't have testing for the Sky set-top boxes. I think it can be quite complex getting, test versions onto people's boxes and then supporting them, and engineers could be needed and things. So I don't know if they're going to do user testing, beta testing kind of stuff for the set-top boxes. We do have, you can get onto the beta testing. I'll have to send you the link afterwards for any information I have. I don't have it to hand, but for testing Sky Go, if you want to get early versions of that.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, and Andrew's actually said that that he was asked, someone from the Sky Accessibility team, whether he'd like to join a focus group.
We did some. I wasn't involved with it myself, but my colleagues in our media team who look after audio description have done some focus groups around that specific topic.
Yeah.
Which they're I can find out if they're still going on or if that's still happening. Of course, we did the user testing group for voice guidance before, so I would like to think we'll do that again. So again, if you want to send me on any names of people, I can't guarantee people will be, because I don't really know what the format's going to be going forward, but it's certainly getting users involved is definitely useful. We did it for Now last year as well with that Apple TV app. We had a testing program specifically with blind and visually impaired users. So it is something that we do. I suppose it's about how we best make it available. Any thoughts people have as well, on how best we make it available to people, or give people an opportunity to sign up. That's the kind of stuff we're looking at, I suppose. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. No, that's all helpful, all good stuff. Sydney's asked about turning on voiceover. You've already covered this one, but yeah, so you can turn on the voice guidance by holding down the microphone button, can't you, and using a voice command.
The quickest way. And I think particularly if you're in a shared household, say, who some people want it, some don't, that's going to be your easiest way to turn on. We're looking at another shortcut. So at the moment, for example, if you press the question mark button on the remote, there's a quick shortcut then to turn audio description on or off. I think we're looking at, that's another one of our things on our list of things to look at, is can we get maybe a voice guidance shortcut in there as well, so that if you don't have the voice remote or don't want to use it or can't use it for any reason.
Great. Good.
Yeah, that's when I was just about to give a hint there. If you do turn it on and you're in a shared household, then do remember to use the voice remote to say turn voice guidance off again, because I forgot I had it on and I left it turned on, and I just heard some colourful language, shall we say, from the living room one day. Get down here and turn this off. I actually had a quick question, David, and I don't know if this is something that's already been done or can be done regarding, the SkyQ remote.
Mm-hmm.
Would there be a way in the future of actually having like a tutorial where you could just snip into like something like a learn mode, and whatever key you pressed on the remote, it would tell you what the button was and give you like a synopsis, like Jaws would in the screen reader if you pressed insert 1. Went into, and the reason I'm asking is I got caught out with them and I didn't have anybody to help me. Was I was going to record something and it says press R to record, and I had absolutely no idea. And I was so frightened to press any other buttons. I didn't know what they did. So would that be, is that an idea or is that just no?
Yeah, you've just described my own dream there. I've been talking about that for a while internally. Well, I don't know where it's at or if it'll happen, but it's definitely, that's the way you've described it is exactly how I would like to see it implemented as well. Which is you go into sort of a learn mode and then any button you press, it'll just tell you what the button is.
Interesting. So, it's just for people on their own. I'm thinking 100%. Of it more than anything, David. Yes, that's really interesting.
What we do have is, if you go to sky.com and search for remotes, we do have guides to the remotes.
Oh.
And they were kind of pictorial, so I kind of went through them last year. I think caught all of them. So if we find one that isn't clear enough, let me know.
Will do.
where I made sure they put alt text on each of the images, so it says, in the top left you have the standby button,
on
in
offer,
the middle you have
yeah.
the Sky button, whatever it is. So describing the layout of the remote. But the thing with SkyQ is it's been around 5 years and there's been a few different iterations of the
Yes.
remote. So it might go, do you have this one or this one? And yeah, you might go, I don't know. But you should know, because usually it's like, do you have a voice button on it, yes or no? And then it'll be, is it the voice button on the front or
On
the
the
voice button on the
side,
side?
yeah.
And it'll help you figure out which remote you have and then give you that kind of breakdown. But
Excellent.
the
Thanks,
best
David.
option at the moment.
I will have a look at that.
And there is an ergonomic remote control available as well, isn't there, for anybody that?
Yeah, they call it the accessibility remote. So it's basically a larger version. It's actually a repurposed Sky Plus remote. So people who have Sky Plus will be fairly familiar with it, but it has kind of more of a grip on the back of it as well. So it's very good for people with dexterity issues, as well as some people with low vision find it useful as well, because you can see the buttons better because they're bigger.
Yeah.
And that's free, by the way. If you're a Sky customer and you call our accessibility team, you can get one of those sent out to you for free.
Even better. Good. Now, Paul's actually mentioned, which is quite interesting actually, obviously off topic slightly from Sky, but Freeview channel 555, for anybody that have you explored this, David?
I'm in Ireland, so we don't have it.
Oh, of course you don't.
Yeah, I've seen it though. I have seen it.
So for any Freeview users, channel 555 is an accessible TV guide, which
yes. Now, Sam, the only thing I'm going to say on that, I know about it and I tried it in my TVs. Maybe it's a Samsung, so I thought it would work. It's a Series 5, which is it's a couple of years old.
Yeah.
And it says that the TV is not compatible. So I'm wondering if older TVs don't work, or I don't think I'm missing an update. So whether there's something I need to further do, it shouldn't be.
No,
but I'm stuck. So
yeah, embarrassingly, I've not actually tried this, Paul. So apologies. I'll test it on my telly after the session. But if anybody else has any experience of Freeview channel 555, please do let us know. The concept does look great. Good. So we've got Adara and Joanne who would like to ask some questions as well. So Adara, if you want to unmute yourself, feel free to ask away. Still with us, Adara?
Hello.
Hi,
Dave and Sam. I had a couple of it was just a quick question, but it was how do you update software on Sky? Do you contact the accessibility team, or do you just wait for it to come out? Because I had a look on it. It's the unfortunate problem is it's not my Sky, it's my partner's. So we had a look to see if it was, and it hasn't come out yet. I assume there's something to do with the software not being updated.
Okay, yeah. So as I said, it should have come down automatically. The last batch went out at the end of April, 26th, I think it was, of April. The box was plugged in, and it should come through in the early hours of the morning. If it didn't, you can force a manual update. I don't know all the instructions off the top of my head, if I'm honest, but you can do it. If you go to sky.com and /help and look for the manual instructions, or on our Sky community thread, I put up the post. If you go to the Sky community, which is helpforum.sky.com, and go to discussions, Sky accessibility, and you should see a thread relatively near the top about voice guidance.
Okay.
And towards the end of that, I know I did put a post in there as well explaining, because there's a method you can do where you hold down the Sky button, which is the one in the middle of the queue on the front of the box. You hold that in, unplug the box from the mains, keeping the button held in, and then plug the box back in, or use the switch on the wall, obviously. still holding that, and I think you hold it for another 10 seconds or something like that before you release it, and it'll force the update. But you might get some splash screens pop up where you might need sighted assistance or Be My Eyes or something like that if you can't see what's happening on the screen. So it is kind of we kind of said, if at all possible, if you're going to do a manual update, see if you can get some sighted help, whether it's in person or something like Be My Eyes. Because
okay.
I'm sure if you go into something like, because I got my mum to download the update with sighted assistance, I'm sure if you go into something like, I tell you what I'll do, once the session's over, I'm not at my mum's house at the moment, but leave it with me and I'll go in and work out how to do it, and I'll send you instructions, Sam, to mail out if that's okay.
Yeah, it's in there. It's settings,
it's
and
settings, systems, and
like
about
that.
or something like that.
Like that. Yeah, I just don't remember it off the top of my head, but there's those instructions are on sky.com.
Yeah, I think it's setting systems and about, and then you have to fiddle around with the
and then it looks for the update, and then it just downloads. You know it. Yeah.
It takes about 10 minutes usually. It depends on your broadband, obviously. But
that's true.
Sorry about that, everyone. I just had one of my colleagues, Tony, just called me via his Envision glasses. So he's doing a demonstration in a library to a group of people. And, anyway, so yeah, just answered that. Good. Thanks, Adar. Does that help?
It does help. Yeah, I did have another question, but it's completely gone out of my head. So.
Oh, don't worry. Pop it in the chat box so you can come back in.
No worries. Okay.
Great. Thanks again. And Joanne, if you'd still like to ask your question, just unmute yourself. Hi, Joanne.
I was the one asking about the job opportunities, by the way. You said that I was asking about the fact that when I say play something on my recording, that it doesn't come up all the time. You said you need an example. Am I able to tell you like what exactly is happening?
Yeah, it's kind of a difficult one to reproduce for me here now, if you know what I mean, or and I can't see this obviously because I can't see your screen. I may not be able to answer, I guess, is what I.
Well, that's fine. That's okay. So if I have the voice guidance, because I'm not used that yet, do you think if I go on that and I hear exactly what it says and then say exactly what it is saying, it might be able to work?
Yeah, I think if you have voice guidance enabled and you say, play whatever, voice guidance, whatever pops up on the screen, then voice guidance will read it. So if there is some kind of an error, or if it's maybe asking you, do you want to play the version from your recordings or the version from on demand, or it's giving you some sort of choice to make.
You asked me that.
It can do that, yeah. So that's why I say I don't know the exactly what's happening in the situation of what you're trying to play and what's on your box, but if something is popping up on the screen after you've given that command, voice guidance will read it out.
Okay.
So that'd be my first thing to try.
Okay, I'll try that. And when you were talking about the, trying to include more diversity and more people with disabilities, is that something that's already happening, or you're looking at that and basically where can I find that on the social media, or is that something?
It's not really something I can speak to be honest. It's not really in my, I'm not in the recruitment or HR kind of area myself. I just know that, it is something Sky have very much committed to, is around diversity inclusion. And like I say, we've joined this Valuable 500 to commit to a focus on disability. But what's specifics are going to happen, or what specific programs are going to happen, I don't know, to be honest, at this point. But we're certainly committed to being an inclusive employer. But like a lot of companies, there's various. It depends what the role is, and there's various, various things at play. So which what I mean. So yeah.
That's cool. And I just wanted to confirm, because I was going to ask about the remote controls as well. So I just phoned up the customer service and asked for ergonomic remote control. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, or if you say accessibility remote control or easy grip remote control, they call it sometimes.
Okay.
Ergonomic isn't a word we use internally, so just to be on the safe side in case they don't know what that means.
All right, and just like Andrew was saying, I found the customer service people really helpful and really good. So
That's great to hear. Yeah, brilliant.
Right.
They're very committed. they're you know, I've done training sessions with them before, and they're really kind of enthusiastic kind of as well.
Excellent. Well, thanks, John.
Thanks,
Hopefully
John.
that helps. Okay, thank you. Good stuff. All right. Well, that's almost I think that is everyone actually. Yeah, we've covered everything in the chat box. Everybody who's had their hand raised. Perfect. Thanks so much, David. That was you were grilled officially.
Did my
That
best
was
anyway.
You got a good social hub grilling there. It was but thank you. No, it was brilliant. And
Thank you.
yeah, it's I understand that representing Sky, obviously coming on and being the face of accessibility in this way is you're putting yourself out there to have all sorts of questions thrown at you, but we really appreciate you coming in and answering them, and and sort of signposting and educating and giving us all some information to hopefully make lives a bit easier. So yeah,
thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for all the questions.
Definitely, we're excited to see what's to come as well. Obviously, this voice guidance is obviously is fairly new, so there's lots to come, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll develop over time with the help of all you guys feeding back to us, really.
Yeah, definitely, that's important. Yeah, so please, guys, do use the Sky Community Forum to leave your thoughts. Your testing sort of observations there, put them all on there, and David and his team will do their best to pick them up. Good. Before we do sign off, thanks to everybody that's hung around. I know lots of people do have to run back off to work or whatnot. Yes, so this session will be available on YouTube later today. So please do share it with colleagues, friends, family, whoever it might be. We're back, myself and Stuart are back in 2 weeks' time. On the 10th of June, we are excited to have the team from Guide Dogs UK will be with us. They'll be talking about mobility training. Lots of other things as well. But we're really looking forward to having them join us. So that's in 2 weeks' time. We've also got a couple of other events to share with you. All of this is available on our website, but just in case, we've got a Clubhouse event. Now, this is a new platform that we're going to be using. This is only our second event that we've run from Clubhouse. It's a new app, which is completely audio-based app. It's now available on iOS and Android. It was only just iOS, but now it's Android as well. We're running an event on Wednesday, June the 9th at 12:30. It's just a lunchtime chat with our head of operations, James Everson. He's going to be talking all about what's to come for Sight and Sound, what's going on within the company, and everything else tech related as well. He's got a keen eye on new and emerging technology as well, James. So he'll be talking all about that as well. So that's on June the 9th at 12:30. But you can find all the information about these events on our website or social media platforms as well. Good. I think that's about it from us. So just another huge thank you to David for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thanks, David.
Likewise, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Stuart, as always, really good to have you with us. Thank you.
Yes, I've been quiet today, but David stole the show, so thank you very much. David, really, really interesting. I mean, I think, as we say, it's new. It's been a long time coming, the voice guidance feature, but I love it already, and I can't wait to see what's coming in the future as a user. Yeah, and I look forward to seeing everyone again. Really looking forward as a guide dog user to having guide dogs on in 2 weeks' time. Can't wait.
Definitely. No, we're excited about that. But yeah, thank you, David. Lots of really nice comments in the chat box about your demonstration as well. So Lots of good feedback. All right, everybody, stay safe, take care, and yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thanks, everyone.